you know, a little bit more about you and your pressure cooker experience. So the first question that I'm going to ask is if just put in the chat if you already own some type of pressure cooker, electric pressure cooker, not the ones like our grandmas and our moms used to have, or maybe some of us, but put in the chat yes or no if you have a plug-in pressure cooker, and if you happen to have the Pampered Chef one, put QC for quick cooker, so we know how many people have this one versus another type. Okay, so that will help us determine. Oh goodness, look at those. All right, so it looks like a lot of people do currently own one, which is great. So now, I'm going to introduce myself and the ladies that will be co-facilitating with me tonight. But I do want to preface it by saying this is a pressure cooker workshop. We really want you to know all the things that you could possibly know about, pressure cooking. We want to inspire you, send you with some recipes. But the only version I've ever had is the Pampered Chef quick cooker. Okay, so any of the details and specifics, that's the only thing I can give you specifics about. But we really hope, even if you have another brand, that you will glean some great information. And what we really want you to do is leave here inspired, excited, and use it. Because no matter what brand you have an amazing power tool that can make dinner time a breeze, or not even just dinner time, mealtime a breeze at your house. All right, for those of you that I've not met, my name is Jamie Swanson, and I'm bringing you over 19 years of experience with Pampered Chef. I live in Wilmington, North Carolina. And I truly, truly love to cook, but I'm always looking for quick and easy ways to make that happen. So prior to the Pampered Chef quick cooker coming out, I didn't think that I needed a pressure cooker. We've got some amazing tools, amazing products in our line, and I just didn't think that that was something that I would even want, even if Pampered Chef came out with it. But boy, was I wrong. As soon as Pampered Chef came out with this thing, I fell in love with it, and it's really been a game changer for my family, because we are a family on the go. We're constantly, just at sports and, school events and different things like that. So Donna McDonald, give everybody a wave. She'll be sharing with us shortly. And then Amy Gibson. So Donna's in Georgia and Amy Gibson is in the Clayton, which is the Raleigh, North Carolina area. So
hey, Jamie, we're going to have Donna do a little test. She might have some technical. We need to see if we can hear Donna. Donna, you want to give us a shout out?
Yeah, Donna, why don't you and Amy pop in for a second? Come off of mute, because Stephanie's muted everybody. Come off of mute, and let's just make sure that we can hear you just fine.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. It's low, but you're there, Donna.
Hey, can everybody hear me?
Yes. Aloha. Love that shirt. Perfect. All right, so I'll get back to a little more detail. I'm going to just break down some of the things about this. But the next thing that I want to see in the chat looks like, holy smokes, looks like tons of you have a pressure cooker. So let's talk about some of the things that's maybe slowing you down from using it. So if you don't use yours at all, you use it a little, or you use it a ton. Just give us a little feedback on how much you're using. None, little, all the time. So go ahead and put that in the chat. And then I've got another question for you in just a few minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a little bit of just kind of the anatomy and some of the huge perks of the quick cooker that I've got here that I'm going to be showing you. So I'm very compact and convenient, easy to use. The interior front on this is a 6-quart capacity, so I love it. So for my family of 5, anytime I cook to have leftovers. So it's very easy to make large roast, big pasta dishes, baked potatoes, different things like that. So I really love how easy that is. 2 things that I think Pampered Chef did a fantastic job with as far as safety goes is they have the handles here on the side. Okay, so if I needed to transport it from one side of the kitchen to the other, maybe just to get it out of the way after cooking or move it to the table, or take it over to my neighbors if we're doing appetizers or a chili cook-off. It's very easy to transport. I'm not going to be holding it where the heat or the swivel is at, okay? So that is definitely a super safety feature there. And then the other part that I think is so smart is they put the steam release button right here in the middle. And it's actually, and you'll see it a couple of times tonight, it is actually a button that you push down and just walk away. You don't have to maneuver it with a utensil to make it happen. You don't have to sit there and hold it at the same time. And then the actual steam release is at the back. So normally I'd be standing right here. The steam release is going to go far from me. Now, one of the things that I highly recommend if you are using like a countertop space and you've got the your cabinets, it's fine to cook from there. But when you're ready to release the steam, I would just turn it a quarter turn just so the steam doesn't get all over your counters. There's nothing dangerous in the steam, but I just don't want any extra water on those. Now with this one, there are 16 preset settings that you can use, which are fantastic. Now on other brands, the first one we have is the sear. So on other brands, that might be the saute. So here's an example of what I did today. I cooked some bacon in here because the bacon pasta that I was doing needed bacon, onion, garlic. So I put that sear feature with the bacon and then added the onions, and it cooked down beautifully. If you have another brand, that might be a saute. So I've not found any recipes that did not convert beautifully, okay? So another one of the preset settings is steam. I use the steam a lot for vegetables. Oh my goodness, like just quite a few things. There's a couple of desserts that you can do in here, like in little glass bowls, little egg cups that you can do that are great. I love that this also, not only does it quick cook, but it slow cooks as well. So it's got a basically like a crock pot. So if you can get by with a 6-quart crock pot, this is an all-in-one for you. So you will certainly love that. You can proof. I'm not going to take Donna's thunder because she's going to share more about what you can do on that setting. Really love that you've got chicken and poultry, beef and pork, seafood and fish, soups and stocks. So it is set to know like what time you would need for certain items. Now pork chops versus a big pork roast, there's going to be a difference. So I would certainly follow the recipe with that. But by doing the pork setting, you can adjust the time up or adjust the time down, etc. It also, you can do white rice, brown rice, whole grains, beans, stews and chilies, and last but not least, desserts. I'm actually going to show you a quick dessert tonight in here that is absolutely fantastic. I made rice for the first time a couple of weeks ago at a cooking show, and I couldn't believe it. It was 4 minutes, you guys, and it was like being at the Chinese restaurant. It was like the most perfect rice. So while my other dish was cooking, I just like pushed the button and went on about my business. So I thought that was really, really nice. A couple of other features that I absolutely love is there is a delay feature. Has anybody used the delay feature on theirs? I use it all the time. So before I go to pick up my kids, before the crazy starts, if I'm going to do a roast or something that might take a while, but yeah, I just don't need to, to have to remember or set a timer. What I'll do is get it prepped, hit the delay feature. If there's a meat in there, I try not to let it delay more than about an hour and a half, okay? Because you just don't want to get it into any temperature issues. But that delay is fantastic. You can actually delay up to 24 hours. Now, why would you want to delay 24 hours? So maybe you're doing something like a black bean or even like an oatmeal or something. You could certainly delay it and have it start whenever you want it to. It's kind of like the coffee pot. Love to have my coffee pot start cooking before I need it. And you can also adjust the pressure. Like if you're doing a custom cook, you can adjust the pressure to go higher or lower, different things like that. All right, so tell me, let's see, we've got some all the time, couple of times a week, more in the winter. Perfect, little, none. All right, so Christy, hopefully after tonight, you are going to be so inspired and ready. I'm ready to use it even more. All right, the next question that I want to hear is those of you that are a little timid, what's stopping you? Is it the lack of recipes? Is it you're a little bit scared? You're worried that it's not safe? Is it that you just forget about it? So put in the chat what it is that's making it be a little bit slower for you. Okay, so I do all sorts of things. The recipe that I did today really is for a 12-inch skillet. But it was midday in a virtual party, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I am just going to throw it in here. What would take me about 15 minutes on the stovetop to cook, I was able to pop in here and cook in 5 minutes. So I do a lot of conversions from, stovetop or even some oven recipes that I pop right in here. So it makes it very easy. What I love about it is you can fix it and forget about it. So I certainly get it started, and I don't have to babysit it. So that is absolutely one of my favorites to do with that. Another huge thing that has saved my chops more than once, speaking of chops, is you can cook from frozen in here. So love that. So even at 4 o'clock, even those of us that stay at home, sometimes we forget that something has to come out of the freezer. So dinner is not, it's not going to have to be pizza every time that happens, much to my kids' dismay. But you can throw your frozen foods in there and certainly cook. All right, so the Pampered Chef Quick Cooker does come with this little quick cooker cooking guide. If you have another brand and just want some ideas and inspiration, let your consultant know. This is a replacement part that we can order. And as you can tell, I need a replacement because I use this thing all the time, like just all the time. But I think what you'll love about this is it gives you all sorts of things. I would say, Amy, what Amy's going to share tonight is so simple. It's what I encourage everybody to start with because it is such an easy recipe, but it's just a simple salsa chicken. I steam eggs all the time, so I think that you'll love that. There's several different methods. I follow the one here in the book, but there's like a 5-5-5, which means 5 minutes on pressure, 5 minutes releasing the pressure, or 5 minutes under pressure, 5 minutes after release the pressure, and then 5 minutes in ice. So you'll find those combinations of things that you love. You guys, especially when times are, crazy and tight, and like last year when you couldn't get everything you needed at the grocery store, I found myself using some super inexpensive staples like dried beans or rice. And it's just so nice that you can do that, and you know exactly what's going into your food. So I do black-eyed peas pretty often, and it only takes 15 minutes to cook those. Like game changer. You don't even have to soak them. All you have to do is rinse them. So it's a quick rinse, pop them in there, follow the instructions. So really, really do love that. Now, yeah, sure.
Robin would like to know if you need to adjust the temperature or time if your meat is frozen versus fresh.
Absolutely. That is a perfect question. And we're just a couple of pages away from that. So I'll go ahead and swing right onto that. So on the meat settings, and that was what I was going to say is I'm constantly calling my mom. Hey, Mom, how long do you cook this? I'm 43 years old. And I still call my mom or go to Dr. Google and look those things up first. So for a lot of the things in the quick cooker, it's right here in this guide. So on the meat and poultry page, it tells you. So for example, if you were doing, let me find something like skinless, boneless chicken breast. If you were doing 2 to 4 pounds of skinless, boneless chicken breast, there's a column that tells you if you were cooking those from fresh, 4 to 6 minutes. And if you're cooking them from frozen, 6 to 8 minutes. Now I find a little bit more, especially if it's frozen, I'll try to cut it in half if I can to make sure that that's good and done. But there is a little bit of a time change, but I mean, not like drastically, not like an extra 20 minutes or anything. So it's just a couple of minutes. So that was an awesome question. You guys keep those coming in. The same thing with the vegetables. There's some great vegetables that you can do. Already this week, we've made root beer ribs. I love to do those. Very, very easy. I put 2 racks of ribs in there with my favorite soda, and it took 35 minutes for those to cook. You guys, they were fall apart. I couldn't even get them on my pan without them falling apart. So that would have taken hours on the grill or in the oven to get the same results. So, all right, a couple of other things that I do want to share with you. The lid does come on really, come on and off really easy. It's just one way to do it. So one way on, one way off. I had mentioned earlier before we really got started that there is a silicone ring in there. And what is great about this is it is removable. So you can wash it. You can put it in the sink and wash it. You can put it in the dishwasher. And if it's real garlicky or oniony, I recommend maybe squirting a little bit of lemon juice on it and let it sit outside for about 24 hours to air out. But you want to make sure in your assembly to get your pressure cooker ready, you want to make sure that that has a good fit, because if it's halfway off, it's not going to come to pressure. Okay. So you might hear some hissing. So if you hear hissing for longer than about 10 minutes, a little hissing's okay. But if you hear it for longer than 10 minutes, that probably means you don't have a good seal on there. So you want to check that and adjust. The other thing that while we're talking about the lid, especially when I do stuff that's very garlicky or oniony, anything very savory, when I go to put it away, rather than putting the lid on and storing it like that, what I do is I put it in upside down. That allows it to air out and you don't get those funny smells, because the cake that I'm making today, I don't want it to smell like the pasta that I made earlier in the day. So absolutely an easy thing. Now, the last thing that I'll tell you before I do my little cake is that you want to make sure a couple of things here. There's a little steam symbol here on this where you release the pressure, so that actually comes out. So you want to make sure that that's at the bottom and it matches this little button here where you push to release the steam. So to start your recipe, you want to make sure that the button is not indented. You want it flush and even up here. So that's going to make it work. Just make sure that you're not the steam is not coming out. All right, so the recipe that I'm going to quickly demo is a cake in our fluted pan. So this is incredible. When the recipes for the cakes first came out, I was like, I trust you, Pampered Chef, but I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure how these cake situation is going to come out. So this is a little fluted pan. It comes with a little holder to make it really easy. And then I'm just going to simply use our kitchen spritzer to spritz some oil right on there. If you don't have a kitchen spritzer, you can use something like the Chef silicone basting brush to make sure that it's nice and coated. With any type of pans like this, you really don't want to use Pam. Here's a fun fact. I'm not sure if Donna's going to talk about this, but this one actually fits in our air fryer too. So I can make it the same cake. I'm going to save the rest of the batter and make a cake in the air fryer tomorrow. So I absolutely love it. Yes, somebody said cheesecakes. I make cheesecakes all the time in here. I do like a keto cheesecake that is the bomb, like absolutely the bomb. So, and for those of you that are struggling with recipes, your consultant, after tonight, we're going to do a little survey towards the end. And I'm going to, after I get those surveys in, we're asking for all surveys to be in by 10 o'clock tonight. That way we can just make sure you do it. You don't forget about it. But I'm going to do 2 drawings. So we'll have a couple of winners. So I put 1 cup of liquid in there because anytime you're cooking under pressure, you need some type of liquid. Okay. So the liquid went there on the bottom. This is going to go in this little rack that comes with ours. And it's going to go right on there. I'm not covering it or anything. I am going to turn that quickly, just hit custom. Time, and then I'm going to set it for 18 minutes and start. Everything's good. All right, so that is what I have to share, and then I'll see you guys again at the end.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jamie. That was great information. So one of the things that I love about Pampered Chef is the first thing is our mission statement is enriching lives, one meal, one memory at a time. So I want you to type in the chat box because so often our childhood memories and our traditions are around food, right? So go ahead and type in the chat box. Is there a tradition that is aligned to food, whether it be present or whether it be in your past? Go ahead and type that in the chat box. And while you're going ahead and you're typing that, I have to say, I am from Italian heritage. So of course it's all around food, and it's especially around bread, because my great aunt, who was the matriarch of the family, she would make Italian sauce and she would start it early on Sunday morning, and all day we would smell that sauce cooking. And then you would take bread and you would dip it into that sauce. And that was just part of, that was like a very fundamental appetizer, even before we sat down to that 6-course meal. So of course, when our quick cooker gave us the opportunity to proof bread, it definitely spoke to my heart, because we know so many people don't make bread because they don't have the time. It's that proofing and that rising that takes so much time. So with our quick cooker, we're one of the few pressure cookers that do allow you to proof bread. So the recipe that I made is, of course, one of our Pampered Chef recipes. We love the fact that when you go and you search, you know, quick cooker recipes on our Pampered Chef website, many recipes come up for you. So, you know, you don't even have to come up with. So if you don't have a Pampered Chef quick cooker, but you have a pressure cooker, hey, many of our recipes are adaptable to your pressure cooker. And that's what it's all about here today. So I've already done the first proof on my bread. It requires 2 proofs. The first proof is you mix your ingredients, you drop it into your quick cooker, and you proof it for 30 minutes. After it's finished, you hit the cancel button, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull it out, and we're going to prepare it for the second proof. So give me just 1 second here. I'm going to go right over to our quick cooker. I love these little, I'm going to turn myself a little bit here. I love these helper handles. Oh, I forgot to put my helper handles on. I guess that would help a little bit. My helper handles, I'll put it, oh, they sunk down there. Okay, so here's our first proof. Now what I'm going to do to finish this off is we have some honey. And we're going to take our pastry brush and we're going to just brush some honey on the top of this. This is a really sweet bread. I love the fact that this is really nice as a dinner bread, but also the next day, go ahead and slice it up and toast it. It makes the perfect breakfast toast also. Now, this is a pretty healthy bread. So it's made with oatmeal as well as our bread flour, our yeast, our salt, as well as just, you know, from basic water. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to sprinkle some oatmeal on the top. We're going to take our helper handle this time, and I'm going to put our ceramic insert right in the middle here. And this helps us when the bread is hot to get it in and out. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put it right on top, and I'm going to go right to our proof setting. And it takes 30 minutes. So 2 times you're going to proof your bread for 30 minutes and hit your start button. Okay, so that's super easy. After it proofs for another 30 minutes, I'm preheating my oven at 350. I'll pop it into the oven for 45 minutes and I am going to have the best bread. And I'm going to show you in a minute by the magic of television what that bread looks like. So let's talk a few minutes just about our accessories. Now, Jamie's already tempted you about cheesecake. Who loves cheesecake? Raise your hand. Gotta love cheesecake. How awesome is that? Kind of call this is a perfect family size cheesecake. And our springform pan does release the collar, so you can get that beautiful outside rim on your cheesecake. So whether you're gonna do a cherry topping afterwards, a blueberry topping, but it makes it super easy with the springform pan. Also, many recipes that you see ask you to saute first. And there is nothing worse than having, you know, I don't know about you, but for me, I put on that brand new top, I start cooking and it never fails. I end up splattering that top. Well, if you use our lid when you're sauteing, it's going to prevent that splattering, as well as it has a steam release area here. So this is great, a great add-on for it. But here's something that I use quite often. We don't eat a lot of meat in our house. We do a lot of steaming as well as vegetables. And our basket collection allows you to put fish as well as vegetables. And you have that one pot, you know, one step meal that you can just forget about. Though I have to share with you, look on the Pampered Chef recipe. There's a recipe that is an Oktoberfest recipe that has sausage and potatoes and carrots, and it is just scrumptious. And there you go. It's all, again, one pot. You just drop it right into our quick cooker, okay? Now, next, I'm going to show you how delicious this bread looks, because I know you're going to all be wanting to scratch the screen to see that if you can smell and taste how wonderful it is. All right, let me grab that. And take a look at how beautifully brown this is on the top. It is just gorgeous. And again, all you'll need to do is slice that up, some butter, and you are ready to have the perfect accompaniment to your dinner this evening. Okay, so let's make sure that I just want to share a few of the traditions before we go ahead and we turn it over to Amy. So let's see. Okay, here's a question. Okay, Jamie already answered that for me. Thank you. Is there any questions, Stephanie, or you want to go ahead and share what are some of the traditions that people shared?
Yes, let's share. We have Christmas pasta dishes, of course, some Italians in here with 7 fishes and Sunday sauce. And we have people who've actually done some sauce and meatballs in their quick cooker. So awesome. Sunday roast beef dinner, barbecue chicken, family and cousins every Sunday, birthday meals. Nice.
Well, awesome. Thank you, Stephanie. And thank you everyone for warming my heart by sharing your traditions. And think about how can you use your pressure cooker to expedite entertaining? Because we know sometimes when you get the family together and you're trying to put lots of meals on the table, using something like a pressure cooker is one of the things that can expedite dinner and get it on the table seamlessly. So Amy, I'm going to turn it over to you.
One fast question, Donna, which was, can you bake the bread in the air fryer once it's done proofing?
No, I have to be honest, I have not tried that. Has anyone, Jamie or Amy, have you tried to bake bread? I am traditionally an oven person at 350. No, Amy is a no, and Jamie, I can't see you.
No, I haven't, but the ceramic pot fits in there. So I told Wendy that's a challenge that I'll accept. I'll give it a try soon and we'll report back. So,
awesome.
Thank you, Donna. That was awesome. And one clarification, someone asked, did you bake the bread in the quick cooker that actually goes in the oven? So I'm just going to make sure everybody did see that.
Yeah, so when I take it out for them from that second proof, I'll just put it right into my preheated oven and it will take an hour at 350.
Yep. All right. So I just explained the proofing as like the fast pass, so you don't have to wait overnight for the dough to rise. So the
proofing, exactly. Proofing is a rise. So think about sometimes even in a warm room, a rise can take 3 to 4 hours where you're doing it in 30 minutes. So you do need 2 proof segments. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. And Amy, I'm going to.
All right. Thanks, you guys. All right. So what I want you to do is type in the chat. You've heard a lot of ideas, some inspiring things. What are you thinking about cooking now? We talked about desserts. We talked about main dishes, bread. Who would have thought bread? Did you also know that the proof setting can be used to make your own yogurt? So in all this fun activity that we've had tonight, type in the chat what you're thinking about trying, what you would like to use with your pressure cooker. So when I got this pressure cooker back in September, actually it was August of 2018, I thought, what in the world has Pampered Chef sent to me? Because I had all the tools, just like Jamie said, but you guys, there's a reason why I have 2 quick cookers. I tell my customers and my team members, if I have 2 of something, it's because I use them a lot. And so one of the very first things that you're going to want to do is, of course, when you unbox it, Pampered Chef's going to have a beautiful use and care, comes with every product. They're going to have a beautiful cooking guide here. And they're also going to have like a little sheet that talks about doing a steam test, putting a cup of water in, putting your lid on, hitting steam, just to make sure everything works. Make sure you do the steam test. It's kind of like the trial run, kind of warm you up a little bit. So then one of the things that I love, because I was super intimidated by this, because, you know, I'd heard all the stories like, oh, grandma was cooking spaghetti and the next thing you know, it's on the ceiling and all that kind of stuff. Well, grandma and some of the older pressure cookers really cook at a high pressure and they're used for canning. Our pressure cooker is not used for canning. Our pressure is just for everyday cooking like we've been talking about. So I love that one of the things Pampered Chef is really good at is educating. Because when I would do cooking shows or talk to people about pressure cookers, I would often hear people say, oh, I got one from a department store, but now I don't know what to do with it. Or so-and-so got me one for my birthday or Christmas, but it just sits in the cabinet. I'm not sure what to do with it. And that really breaks my heart because this is a fantastic tool. So I love that Pampered Chef has this cooking guide. So of course, and you can kind of see mine's ragged too. And if you look really closely, there's a lot of stains from just turning the pages. But I love they start the easy 3 ways to get started. And one of them is the steaming of the eggs, which I do all the time. And you guys, if you've never steamed eggs, you will get an amazing ability to peel those eggs. And I hate when I used to do my eggs on the stove, they just chunk away with the peel. with a shell. This right here, they come right off so clean. But one of the other things I love is this simple salsa chicken, which is what I'm going to do for you real quick. And I love a simple, easy meal. This is also something that I will repurpose into a casserole, or I will make into a soup. But it's basically anywhere between 1.5 to 2 pounds of chicken. The recipe calls for chicken breast. I happen to get some chicken thighs. All right, so that's there. And then you want about 2 tablespoons of taco seasoning. So this is the Pampered Chef Southwestern seasoning. So I'm going to put that in there. Okay. And then we need a cup of liquid, because that's what makes the pressure work. So the cup of liquid is our salsa. All right, easy peasy. 3 ingredients. You guys can do this. Now, I often have people who are like, how do I get this lid on? I don't understand it. Think about when you start thinking about dinner. I think about dinner all the time, but we really start thinking about it like 4 or 5 in the afternoon. So you want to put your quick cooker lid at about the 4 or 5 o'clock, turn it to 6 o'clock. That's when we're going to have dinner. All right. So I'm going to turn this to the poultry setting here. Jamie talked about all the settings, and it's preset to 15 minutes. I love that. And I'm going to hit start. Now, one of the things we're going to do a little close up and show you, this is something I tripped up on, you know, just learning and all that. The pressure release valve is here. I'm about to pressure release the first batch of chicken salsa, but there is the pressure release button here and the valve here. If this thing is cocked off to the side, you will not build pressure. So that was one of the first things I ran into, because, you know, I had washed my top here and I just didn't reset it, but it's got a little pressure icon here, pressure icon here. Make sure they're both lined up, okay? And then I also love that when this is fully pressurized, see, there's clay in it now, but when it's fully pressurized, this little button will pop up and it'll lock this thing tighter than a tick. So come over here, and I have got my quick cooker salsa chicken is done, and I think the pressure is automatically released, but that's okay, because here's the cool thing, one of the cool features about the pressure cooker. This got done. You guys couldn't hear the audible, and it beeped 3 times because I was on mute. It immediately goes into a warming cycle. So if I'm outside doing stuff and I don't hear the audible and I come in and I'm like, let's see if my dinner's done or whatever, I'm like, oh, it was done 15 minutes ago. It immediately goes into the warming cycle. Now, here's something really cool I like. Let's say I've made like a potato salad in here and I want to keep it hot. You can make a hot potato salad in here. And then I want to take it to church or some potluck. I can take this thing with me, plug it in, and just hit cancel, which is the same thing as the warming cycle. So either cancels it, or when I hit cancel again, it will rewarm it. So I love there's a delay. I also love there's a warming cycle. So I'm gonna hit cancel, and this thing is already depressurized. Had we come over here in time, I kind of set this thing going thinking, okay, it's gonna come over here perfectly. I'll show you how to release the pressure. I would do this and the pressure would come out there, but I think we're gonna see Jamie's probably depressurized. But once that little red button drops, this thing is safe to open and it is done, okay? And check out how beautiful this is. It's already hot, ready to go. And so I started this about 5 minutes before we went live. And so it took 5 minutes to come to pressure and then 15 minutes to cook. I mean, really, kids doing dinner or homework while you're doing dinner, folding laundry or whatever, you can totally put this together. So I've got the chicken in here. I've got my seasoning in here, salsa. We need the salad choppers, which is like scissors on steroids. We're gonna chop this sucker up here, okay? And then you can spoon this into a tortilla. You can put it on top of some lettuce, all right? You might need to get a slotted spoon if you want to put it on a tortilla, but that is ready to go. And dinner is done. And what I'll probably do with this batch, since we've already had dinner tonight, I'll let it cool, and then I'll put it in the freezer and I'll use it for a soup later on. Now, let's talk a little bit about cleaning, right? Jamie talked a little bit about the lid, but you guys, one of the best things, you know, if you have a pressure cooker, you need to get your 6-quart pot. That's pretty standard for pressure cookers. This is hot. So get your pair of these little quick cooker grips, your microwave grips. Easy to take out, all right? You could hand wash it or go right into the dishwasher, either way. The other thing I love about our pressure cookers is I love that there's measure marks on the inside. You guys, I use my pressure cooker a lot for prep cooking, all right? I love to make things ahead of time and then have them for use later. One of my favorite things I've been doing with my pressure cooker for the past couple of months is I've been making a homemade bone broth. It's really good for your gut health. And when you go to the grocery store and buy broth, a lot of times there's sugar in it. So just get yourself a 4-pound chicken, rotisserie chicken, make your chicken in the air fryer, in the oven, and then, take all the meat off, do whatever you're going to do with it and save the carcass. And then I put the carcass in here and I put in some onions and some carrots, some herbs, and I just fill it up with filtered water to that 2/3 line. And I make 14 cups of homemade bone broth every single time. So I've got it ready for my recipes to go. If I just want to sip on it, I've got it ready. So I love my pressure cooker for main cooking, but also for prep cooking. Okay, so I'm going to look and see what you put in the chat as far as what you would like to make. And oh, by the way, as we were talking about the holidays, it made me remember that the first time I hosted a big Thanksgiving dinner, I ran out of oven space. Anybody ever had that happen? So I thought, well, I'm the Pampered Chef lady. I need to make another batch of dressing. I went to Dr. Google and said, pressure cooker Thanksgiving dressing. And I made a fantastic Thanksgiving dressing right here in our pressure cooker. So you can do so much. So if you're intimidated by using it, let us help you get off to a strong start. Jamie talked about how we can send you one of these. It's a replacement part, but I've got better news. We actually have it as a digital copy. So just contact your consultant and we can email it to you and we'll get you started. Okay, so Jamie, I think that is all mine. So I'll turn it back over to you.
Well, some quick questions for you, Amy.
Okay.
One of our people would like to know if you're worried about steam getting so high that it's, you know, eating at your ceiling paint.
Okay, good question. So when I take this to my shows, I like to be considerate of my host kitchen, and I do like to put the pressure cooker on the stovetop and turn on the vent so all that steam gets sucked out. And if I'm in a kitchen with a really tall ceiling, it's probably going to be okay. That's one of the things I love about what Pampered Chef has done with the pressure cooker. You guys, they went out and got all the pressure cookers on the market and they tested them and they listened to all the customers that wanted us to make a pressure cooker. And one of the things they found was some of the pressure cookers on the market where you want to release that pressure is the same place the pressure came out. And they thought, why is that? You know, who does that? Because you burn yourself, right? I've seen people take like their tool and kind of like press the button. So just make sure it's pointing away from you. And my tip is I like to put it under the vent hood and just let that steam get sucked out.
Okay, very good. And then what setting are you using when you're doing your bone broth?
Oh, my bone broth, I use the soup and stew setting. It's perfect. So again, it's the press up setting and walk away and forget about it. So that's the thing that I use. And it's perfect every single time.
So Collins is a little intimidated because she has lots of memories from grandmother's old pressure cooker. So rest assured, Collins, we've got the safety in hand.
That's right. That's right. And I think Pampered Chef has done a fantastic job with that and have kept the, you know, the safety features, you know, absolutely at, you know, first and foremost. And like Amy said, that little red steam indicator, which I'll show you guys, I'll bring mine a little bit closer, you know, when mine's done. But that red steam indicator, if it's up there, there's no amount of tugging that you will ever be able to do to get this lid off. So that has to go down. Funny story. I had a customer that texted me one night and said, hey, I can't, you know, it's my food is still under pressure. It was green beans. And I think it had just gotten lodged in there. So if it ever like does release the steam, there's no more steam coming out, but the little red thing, just use a butter knife or something to tap it down. Cause like, I think it was the one time ever, but at like 11 o'clock, I'm like, how are those green beans? You know, how did they turn out? So, so that lid will not come off. So do not let that intimidate you. Also, do not touch that with your finger because it is hot. Okay. So take it from somebody that tries everything once. You definitely don't want to do that. So I love that. Now I'm always looking for shortcuts and hacks. So does anybody want a little hack on how to decrease the amount of time something comes up to pressure? So I did forget to tell you in the beginning, once I hit the custom and then the 18 minutes and hit start, it rotated typically for about 5 to 10 minutes for it to come up to pressure. But if you're short on time, here's what you want to do. So I mentioned today when I made the pasta dish that I sauteed the bacon and the onions together. So because I had the sear feature going, it already started the heating on the bottom of the pan. So it was like being on the stovetop. So it had already like basically preheated. So oftentimes by doing that, what's going to happen is you're going to cut your pressure time in half. So don't be alarmed if you don't see that number that comes up right away. You're going to see the rotation that's building up the pressure. And you want that. You want that pressure to be there. So once it starts, another neat thing, Amy mentioned that once hers, I mean, she had already gotten to the number and it said warming across the top. So with this, it started at 18 minutes and then it went down to 18, 17, 16. So now we're only 2 minutes away from this cake being ready, which is really cool. Now this recipe calls for a manual release of pressure, and then some of your other recipes, it may say a natural release. So I wanted to make sure you knew exactly what that was and why you want to do it that way. So if it says a manual release, that means they want you to go ahead and push this button and let that steam out, okay? So for desserts and things like that you wouldn't want to get soggy, you're going to want to go ahead and release that pressure. Now, especially like rice dishes, anything like pasta, desserts, those are you're going to want to have that manual release and go ahead and get rid of the pressure. But things like meat and other things like that is not really that big of a deal. And if it says a natural release, you can just let it go, okay? But things, like the cake, of course, I would want to make sure that I was close by my roast. Is not going to matter so much. And like Amy said, once it got to the 0, you hear a little beep that you're going to hear in just a minute. Then it will go warming, and then it will start counting up. So if you're trying to determine, oh my gosh, are we still cooking? Are we in the warming stage? You're going from the high number down when it's cooking, and when it's resting and warming, you'll see warming across the top, and then the numbers are going up. Oh my goodness, 1 minute. I'm so excited. So, all right. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and turn this around so it's comfortable for me. All right, you hear that? All right, and actually, you guys see that little red indicator? Like you can probably see that it's elevated a little bit. So that is up. All right, so I'm gonna turn this, and then watch this. I'm simply gonna push that button, and like I'm done. I don't have to stand there. It's not spraying all over me. So it makes it very, very easy. And that's another huge safety feature that I think we've done a really, really good job on. So. All right, so while red means stop and hot. Absolutely, good tip. All right, so in the chat, those of you that have one or have a pressure cooker, whatever type it is, tell us what your absolute go-to favorite recipe is to make. So while you're doing that, while this is releasing, I'm going to tell you some of the things that we do on the regular. In this little ceramic pot, you can do an omelet. So I love that you can make just a quick family size omelet that you can do that is so easy peasy. I make ribs probably once a month, maybe more often. And again, I mentioned those, but those are so easy. I do not like root beer at all, but the root beer is absolutely fantastic in here. Lately, I've been doing Coke Zero, but you can trade out for any type of carbonated soda or carbonated drink that you want to do. Just like Amy, we do the salsa chicken a lot. How many of you know about the Mississippi roast? Does anybody make the Mississippi roast in your slow cooker or in the oven? I can do that in here, depending on what size. Usually I have about a 3-pound either pork or beef roast, and you do the little pepperoncinis, you do a packet of ranch and a packet of au jus. You guys, 90 minutes and it is fall apart. So that is awesome with mashed potatoes, and then you can make little sandwiches the next day. So I love to cook big and repurpose, so I'm not eating exactly the same thing all the time. One of my, the cheesecake, I do the keto cheesecake, and it's fantastic. But let me tell you, this Southern girl loves to make boiled peanuts. Do I have any boiled peanut fans in the house? Oh my goodness. Like I have turned half of the people, on this side of the, just a lot of people onto boiled peanuts. So I simply go to the farmer's market, get the green peanuts. Now you can't go get a bag of Planters nuts. That's not going to work. You have to go to your produce section or the produce stand, get green peanuts, wash them up really good, cover it just a little, just cover the amount that you've got in there with some water. I add about a half a cup of salt. I usually do about 3 pounds at a time. And then if they're good sized peanuts, it takes about 75 minutes. If they're on the smaller side, probably about 60 minutes do the trick. You guys, you'll never want to buy them from the can again. All right, so here we go. All right, Stephanie, will you go ahead and put that survey link in there one more time? So Stephanie's putting a survey link in here, and we want everybody that's a guest to fill out the survey. We're going to share the information with your consultant so they can do the follow-up that you need. But I'm going to share a couple of the things that are in there. All right, so easy peasy. That lid's going to come right off. like Donna had mentioned, we've got these wonderful tools that's going to take that out. And you guys, I have a cake. I'm going to let it sit for a little bit before I flip it out, but we'll make sure that we share the picture of it later. It was just a white cake. So my small group is going to enjoy that tomorrow. So there is some water still in there, and you would think that it would be squishy because there was the water in there, but no, it's just the perfectly cooked cake. And how about 18 minutes? And it did not heat up my kitchen. So I love that. Living in southeastern North Carolina, we do anything we can not to have extra heat in the house, especially in the summer. So, all right, so let's see, red beans and rice. Oh, the chicken Parmesan pasta. You guys, that and the salsa chicken, totally budget friendly. And you can make large batches of those. I double those often so we can eat multiple times. So does the pan come with the cooker? The inner pot, the 6-quart capacity does. All of the accessories that we've shown do come separately. And, you know, they actually fit in other brands. So if you've got something else and you need some accessories, we can certainly help you with that. What I love with the ceramic pot, I forgot to mention earlier, is with that little this little stand that's down in there, and it is hot. Somebody probably thinks, oh my goodness, is that hot? Yeah, it's hot. I'll do like my meats on the bottom and this ceramic pot on the top with either vegetables, potatoes, or rice, and you have got yourself a one-pot meal. How about that? So, all right, so let's see. All right, ribs, beans, chicken. Man, you guys are making me hungry. This looks good. Potato salad, all sorts of things. Oh, steel cut oats. Perfect. Fajitas, soups. Oh my goodness, taco soup. I do all sorts of things like that. All right, so I'm going to switch over. We're going to do a little wrap up. I've got just a little slide to show you a couple of things, and then, but we certainly are glad you're here. Does anybody feel free to put any other questions that you have here in the chat, so we can help you with any of that.
We did have a question earlier about setting the custom setting. It probably has to do with maybe the time.
Okay, so what was the question?
She had a question about setting the custom setting. Maybe
okay.
Collins, can you post your question maybe?
Hey, sorry. Yes, we just, if we have to go freeform with meat or something, just kind of the sequence to do custom times, because there's so many options.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and but if I were to do like I think the pork is preset to like 35 minutes, but if I know I've got a larger roast, I can either do the preset and then add the time, or custom pretty much covers it all. So a lot of times I just go straight custom, so I don't have to adjust it. I just go custom and then add the time that I want to do. So did that make sense?
So Jamie, I think that the question is could you look at your cooker and say, hit this button first, set your time first, and then I think it's the sequence of steps that the question is.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I'll bring that back over and we'll do that. Okay. So let me plug it in so it will make sense. And again, this is based on our version because I don't have another version to compare it to. So usually the first thing I do is I go ahead and hit the cancel button just to kind of reset. And then what that did was gave me the warming that Amy talked about. So that's going to keep your food hot while it's going. So then I would actually go ahead and hit cancel one more time. So if you start pushing buttons and nothing happens, just hit cancel again. Okay, so that's going to get you back to where you want. Then you would do the custom button and then hit the time button, which is right below it. And then on ours, you go over to the left-hand side and there's an up and a down, a plus and a minus. So you can decide, what time you want to do. So if I want to do it for 27 minutes, I make sure the top is on and then hit start. Okay. Now, I'm not sure who of my customers are on this call, but I have several people that can vouch that I will do a video chat in a heartbeat if somebody is like in the middle of dinner or, trying to figure out like, oh my gosh, like I just am so scared to use this or whatever. And I'm not sure if she's here, but somebody recently that we had 2 different video chats, we got her prep and then, released. And then she independently used it the next night and was really excited about it. So my encouragement to you is just use it. Use it, use it. We'll get the recipes that you need, but hopefully we got you pretty excited. All right, so I am going to head over to screen share, and then I'm going to, once we get to the very end, Donna has some, she's going to give us some real life examples of a couple of things. So let's see. You Zoom all the time. What's going on here? All right, so I'm going to screen share. All right, and then let's see, where did I just had it? Hang tight. Well, that is just the picture. Okay, so this is perfect. I'm canceled out when I.
Jamie, try clicking on the outline.
Okay, there we go. There we go. I'm not sure what's going on, but now we've got it. All right. Thank you, Ellen. See, anybody can do this business. Anybody can do it. So we really encourage you to join the fun with us. All right, so we are so thankful that each and every one of you came. We hope this was a good hour investment into your evening, and you feel very inspired and excited. Great news. If you do not currently have a pressure cooker, or maybe you've got one and you're like, hey, I think it's time for an upgrade. We want to tell you that today through Saturday, or the beginning of this month through Saturday, you have the opportunity to take advantage of the Pampered Chef Quick Cooker at a 25% discount. For those of you that have already hosted this year and have your 10% discount, you can stack it on top of that. So you can get it even for even less. So the 25% discount is $156.75. You guys, that is absolutely amazing. All right, if you want an even better deal, there is still plenty of time to get a catalog link. We've got what's called a quick link party. You could do a very quick Zoom with your consultant, or even we have an awesome 15-minute text party. I've actually got one that's about to roll off because she wanted a great discount. She wanted this at the discount. So the 25% discount can be rolled in to that 60% discount. So you can get the Pampered Chef Quick Cooker between now and Saturday for $62.70. You guys, that is mind blowing. And hopefully you did see how amazing it is and all the benefits of that. So the next thing that we really want to, while we've got a captive audience, we would be crazy not to let you know how much fun we're all having with this business. As you can see, we work together as a team, and you are in business for yourself, but not by yourself. So if you've ever considered trying out the Pampered Chef business, right now is an awesome time. As of Monday, our kits were just updated. So you can start this business for as little as $79, you guys. If you have a kit credit, you can roll your $25 or your $50 into that and really start for as little as $29, which is absolutely amazing. We also have our middle of the road kit is $159, and then we're going to go into a little more detail on our ultimate kit that's a $279 value, and it is they've made it even better, like just absolutely amazing. So but the return on investment is absolutely wonderful. And the best part is when you submit $12.50 in sales in your first 30 days, most of our new consultants probably do that in about 2 to 2.5 parties. You're going to get 100% kit rebate. So if you've ever been on the fence about trying this business, right now is the perfect time to do it. Folks are eating at home. Folks are eating at home, and they love what we've got. So I'm going to show you this ultimate kit. So this has over $1,100 worth of products, all of the paperwork and supplies you need. For those of you that have recently seen that rapid prep mandolin, oh my goodness, that was one of the new things that they added, and everybody is so excited. But here's the best part. You actually get to choose the small appliance that you want. So up until Monday, the air fryer came with it, and that is an excellent item to have in there. But if you've already got the air fryer, or maybe you just that's not what you're looking for, you can now choose the deluxe grill and griddle or the deluxe cooking blender. So Donna, I'm going to let you share a little bit more. Let me stop sharing, and then I've got a call to action for our friends.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jamie. So if you take a look over my shoulder, you will see those options on that $279 kit. And they really are amazing. You know, I have to share my story with you. I started 32 years ago, truly just to get product. I had a full-time job, 2 kids under the age of 2, and my husband traveled 75% of the time. I did not need something else to do. And I was totally going to start and steal all the products, which we call a kidnapper, and I was going to leave the business. And here I am 32 years later. And never before have we given you the opportunity to choose one of what we call a hero product. So try it by just doing one party. That's all we recommend. Try it for one party, and you may have a story just like mine, where 32 years later, you have been loving the opportunity to stay home with your kids, get away from your kids, and pay for college for 3 boys. So we encourage you just to give it a try. So Jamie, what's our call to action?
All right, so the final thing is, right, can you see my screen? Yep, you can see it again. But first, look at my beautiful cake. Can you guys see how awesome that is? Yay! So cute, dainty, and perfect for my small group tomorrow. All right, so the last thing we're gonna encourage you to do is, we want you to do that survey. So Steph put that survey in there again. You've got until 10 o'clock tonight, so you've got another hour and 4 minutes to get that in. It's going to help us know, like, if this was beneficial, any feedback on what we could do to make it even better. It's going to allow you to let us know how we can best serve you in other ways. So make sure you do that by 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time tonight. We'll do 2 drawings for some winners. Also, we have an opportunity event that's going to happen it's going to be starting anytime now. It's called PC Your Way. So if those kits look pretty appealing, or there's more that you'd like to know about the business, Stephanie's going to post that in there. Again, hop on over there. Anybody that actively participates in that, we'll do another drawing for. So we just have to just message the person that invited you to let them know, hey, I'm checking out that second event tonight. It's short, sweet, and to the point. 30 minutes of posting. You can ask questions. You can just kind of watch things, watch what's going on. But let us know if you're in that, and we'll send you. We'll do a drawing for a little prize there. And then the final thing is connect with your consultant. So let them know that you joined our workshop tonight. Let them know what you are going to take from it. You can also talk to them about placing an order if you'd like. Interested in hosting a party. We've got so many party formats. So when you see that the survey, it's going to give you some options on what type. And if you just have questions about that, reach out and say, hey girl, what is a shared rewards party? Or hey guy, what's a shared rewards party? So they'll be glad to answer that. And then they'll also give you more information if you'd like to know more about our team. So, but thank you guys. I hope you had fun. I hope this was beneficial, and I can't thank my co-presenters enough for an excellent evening.
All right. Thanks you guys for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thanks everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.